As it's nearly Halloween, I'm going to show you how to crochet spider's webs inside a frame. I've used a bangle and I've turned them into earrings, but you could also turn them into a pendant. So you're going to need some thread, a hook. I've used number 60 thread and a 0.75 hook. You're going to need a bangle, a pair of scissors, some glitter, some hooks to turn the bangles into earrings, and some clear nail varnish. And I've also used a little bit of super glue. So to start, I'm going to make a loop for the crochet hook. I'm going to pick up the bangle and crochet around the edge of the bangle, so make a slip stitch. Then I'm going to crochet a chain long enough to reach across the bangle. It mustn't be too loose and it mustn't be too tight. You don't want too much slackness. You do want a little bit of tension. If you find your crochet is loose, it's worth slipping down a size in hook. So I've made that slightly too long, so I'm going to take a few off. As I said, I do want a certain amount of tension, so I take it straight across and I make another slip stitch around the other edge of the bangle. Chain one and pull the thread through and cut it off. So now I'm going to make another thread, exactly the same again. And now you need to decide where you're going to make the center of your cobweb. I tend to do it slightly off center because I think it's more natural looking, but you can have it right in the center, so then you need to do a little bit of measuring. But again, the thread needs to be turned across, not too loose. And as I'm making a second, I'm comparing where the threads are and where the center is, so that I could have one that's matching. So on we go and make a third one. And then a fourth one. So once we've got enough spokes to build our web around, we're going to get rid of the threads hanging off the edges. So as I don't want the threads to move as I'm crocheting the proper web, I'm going to need to fix them, and I used the super glue for that. So it's just plain super glue, and I'm going to put an old-fashioned wooden cotton bobbin underneath it so that I don't spoil my tweed cloth. So I put the smallest little dab of super glue where the thread joins the bangle. That'll stop it from slipping when I crochet along, and it'll also give me the chance to cut the threads off at the edge. The super glue just keeps it in place. I think it's the best glue to use for a project like this because it dries so quickly. Other glues might take a long time to dry. So now we're ready to start on the spiral over the spokes. To do this, you're going to have to position your crochet hook and your thread in a special way. I found that this was the easiest way to achieve a tidy result. So you make the loop for your crochet hook as normal, but then you're going to remove it from your hook and place it between one of the spokes, so from the back. So the crochet hook is on top and the thread is coming from underneath. Stick your crochet hook at the other side of the center and pull through the thread. So the thread is coming from the bottom. Make a slip stitch, and then you're going to crochet a chain of 3. If you get your tension right with your hand, it's not too difficult to do. So the tension that the thread determines how easy it is really. So once you've done the 3, make a single crochet through the chain of the spoke. It's important to go through the chain, as then it secures the spiral and it can't shift. So it's best to crochet through the chain. Chain 3 more, or however more you need to reach the next spoke. So that will vary between rows, and again make a single crochet through the chain. And that's how you work your way around. So you're going to have to vary the length of the chains. And organize your work into a spiral. So you keep on going round and round, making the circle slightly bigger at each round, and adjusting the amount of chains you make. Because the thread is coming from the back, it makes it a little bit easier . So now we're starting on the second ring round the center, and we need to make more and more chains to reach each spoke. Increase the distance between the rings slightly, so that at the edge of the bangle it's a little bit wider than towards the center. It gives it a more natural look. So once we've finished making the spiral round the spokes, I'm going to be using clear varnish to attach the glitter. I'm using clear varnish because it dries very fast, and I also found that the glitter doesn't come loose as easily as it would with school glue or PVA. So the nail varnish is a little bit more solid. So I just do a little bit at a time. I just cover a little tiny little bit of nail varnish and then add the glitter. If you did that with PVA, it would take a lot longer to dry, and it would also flake off. So I work my way around the edge. And now I just need to let it dry. And it'll be dry within 10 minutes. So there we have. I've attached the hooks for the earrings, and I've hung them in trees in my garden as a decoration, and they're also nice as decorations indoors or as a pendant or as earrings, so they're quite versatile.